I wanted to take a small amount of time to weigh in on this new idea that is being presented regarding STIs not being a consequence. This is from the hashtag #ShoutYourStatus. Immediately, I had to shoot this notion down because, let's face it, contracting an STI means you weren't being safe. In the sense of the herpes simplex virus, which is known as HSV1, yeah, you can make that exception, being that that's been roaming around for such a long time. The World Health Organization claims that HSV1 is estimated to be within 3.7 billion people worldwide under the age of 60, with 40 to 50% of those cases being here in the United States. Even if you really wanted to lump in HSV2, which I'm going to argue shortly here, it is estimated to be in about 417 million people between the ages of 15 to 49. This is where my argument against HSV2 comes in, and how it shows that it's a consequence. And that's because, according to the HWO continued, you're 3 times more likely to contract HIV if you have HSV2 or syphilis. So by definition, I consider that a consequence. You're compromising your health because HSV2 isn't an actual curable disease. It will always come back despite depending on your immune system. And secondly, your immune system's been weakened. It no longer will be able to fight HIV as effectively. This doesn't mean, of course, that you're going to catch HIV or you're even going to be close to someone that has HIV, but it's the notion, or it's the fact that you increase the stakes. The second immediate consequence is from childbirth, really, because STIs can result in stillbirth, which is when a baby that's born dies after 24 weeks of pregnancy. STIs can also result in miscarriages, sepsis, pneumonia, neonatal conjunctivitis, and congenital deformities. So, syphilis alone causes 300,000 deaths every year and leaves over 200,000 infants at increased risk of premature death and congenital disease. HPV, which is the human papillomavirus, has over 500,000 cases of cervical cancer per year and over 200,000 deaths related from that cervical cancer. If these aren't enough deterrences to let you know that STIs are technically a consequence, gonorrhea and chlamydia can cause infertility, especially in women. They aren't part of your body that's there to have a good time. They need to be treated carefully. After all, there are over 300 million new infections per year. I remember my human sexuality teacher telling me that 1 in 4 students actually will catch an STI. There's over 1 million contracted worldwide per year. STIs are also generally suppressed by your immune system, so generally you won't have any signs or symptoms until you have the flu or you have a fever, and to which you won't even know it's an STI right away because those symptoms are all popping up during those points. If that wasn't enough, STIs also can be drug resistant. That would make it harder to cure. Now, imagine having a staph infection that is drug resistant, or in fact, imagine a patient with tuberculosis or who's MDR, which is known as multi-drug resistant. Those patients have the worst time with treatments. In fact, they usually have to double down on different medications. They generally have or lose a lot of good bacteria in the stomach, and your body goes through states of weaknesses. So, and to add to that, only 2 of these STIs technically have a vaccine, which is HPV and hepatitis B. So this share your status or shout your status movement wants to try and prevent the shaming of STIs. And I'm not saying that someone should feel an STI in the event that they get one and they overcome it, they've been healed by it. But I do have an issue with the notion that there's nothing wrong with attempting to contract it or having it, period. It's better for everyone if there is no STI. And there's a lot of ways to minimize the risk of these STIs. So I think Shout Your Status should be promoting safe sex as a way of empowerment, and not just stating that claiming your infection and saying you have it is a good thing. Why wouldn't you consider compromises to your body punishing? Imagine yourself running around with a broken leg. or having a lung infection, or suffering from cancer. STIs technically are no different. It's not a way of showing your promiscuity or your enjoyment of sexual activities. So shouting your status as a hashtag to me is dangerous, and I hope all of you listening today will spread awareness of this argument, because I find there to be a very big difference between someone who's previously had an STI and being proud or fond of the fact that they've that they lessened the issue or mitigated it or got rid of it completely, or just simply being proud of the fact that you have one. So you should be proud of attempting to protect yourself in future generations, or the child that you'll have in the future. Those are the goals you should be aiming for with Shout Your Status.